Well, I really enjoyed the demo of the Stanley Parable. I enjoyed the demo so much, I went ahead and downloaded the actual game. So I want to give this a try. I'm not sure if the game and the demo, how similar they are. If the demo just kind of gives you a feel, I don't know. But um, as I said in the demo, I get the feeling this is going to be about making choices, um, and where those choices lead. And I get the feeling that the narrator will offer information, and it's up to you whether or not you want to heed the information, heed the options that the narrator provide. I don't even know if it's the same narrator as the one from the demo. So um, I'm excited though. I enjoyed the demo. This is a different type of a game. I think it might be an acquired taste for some people. I'm not sure if this is something that everybody would like, but I like it. So I'm ready to give this a try. I don't know how long a playthrough lasts. If I have to do it all, if it's going to be one episode or two episodes or what. But let's give it a shot.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Well, that's choice number one. Do I leave the office? Might as well. I wonder how important the number 427 is. Can I open any doors? Nope. Nope.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I did that. I turned off the computer. I think I'm going to turn off all computers that are on. Can I pick anything up? Can I close drawers? No. Let's turn that off. What was my office 427? I don't know if that's important, but I feel like I should remember that. I changed the setting on my mouse. I felt like it was so hard to, it was too sensitive. I was looking up and down too quick. I'm glad I did.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh. I go left or right? I'm gonna go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nope. This is similar and different from the demo, if that makes sense.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at but eager to get back to business. Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Do I? If I go down the hall, does this door close?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Well, no turning back now. Yeah, I can't open the door. Yep. That's a swipe.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who? I feel like there are clues. That's why I'm looking around just to make sure, but boy, that's dark.
That's her, Stanley.
That was a bit
You
of a
need
jolt.
to be the one to do this. To reach out.
sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
427.
Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Whoa.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Yuck. Should I press Q? So my office is 427. And I guess this is my apartment, 427. I'm going to press Q.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Is that a 0 or an O? It looks like a 0. Nope, maybe it's O.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Whoa.
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
And I bet you if I don't do it, I just sit here for... Let's give it a few seconds. Well, no, he said don't do it. So I'm going to go ahead.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Wow.
And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And
I didn't do anything. That was kind of cool.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo?
Let's turn
He
the
could no
computers
longer
off
recall.
again.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
What does that say? Awaiting input. Oh, cool. I don't know if that means anything, but we're gonna go left.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I wonder if this is important. I hope not. That's an awful lot of stuff I would have to try to memorize. I wonder if that's just there and you think it's important and you spend a lot of time memorizing that or staring at it. Did that change? Yeah, it did. Oh, it opened.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yeah, I don't want to stand there just in case the door closes. I think you said the manager's office was up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alrighty. Is this computer on? Nope.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Something sparked.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Seems too obvious. Kind of curious. Let's go for it. Okay. White. Well.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Camera. So the first button was for light. This button is for camera.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wow. This is cool. What does that say? That doesn't make sense. The first button was for light. The second button was for camera. That looks like person. Maybe an elevator?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
You see that one? That was 427 right there. Wow. Okay.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
It's back where I came from. What's that? Over there. To the right. I'm not going to press anything just yet. Everything is disabled. There's a ton of buttons. Everything is disabled or offline. So if it's offline, activate power, waiting for if it's offline, then is Stanley being controlled? Facility power. This is cool. Mind controls idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Well, that sounds like off to me unless I'm being tricked. Okay. Am I dead?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Okay. Is this a trick?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation. the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, that's cool. If I'm back in my office, if I'm back in 427, I'm going to be back in 427, I bet. Come on, hurry up. I knew it. Well, no. Looks different, doesn't it? But I'm still in 427. You know what? Can I save? Resume the game. Now, if I go to menu and then come back, can I resume? Let's find out. Oh. Enable. What other options do I? Yeah. Okay, well. Um, there's a couple of things that I want to do differently next time. That one walkway where it said escape. I'm curious about that. The power facility. I clicked off. What happens if you click on? There's a couple of things that I want to do differently. But and that wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it. I want to do it again, but different. So, but I can see there's multiple gameplay options with this. I wasn't sure, but that was good. I enjoyed it. Hope you did as well. I wish I had known about saving. I'm assuming that's saving because you just go on and on and on and on. So I'm trying to decide if the next time will Well, we have no choice. Next time we do have to start from the very beginning. Or maybe I'll begin a game and take it to that point and then pick it up again. I'm not sure either way, but that was good. So I'm definitely glad that I downloaded this, and this is different from the demo in some ways, but the demo gives you a flavor. Um, but this was good, so I enjoyed it. I hope you did too, and we will see you next time when I play the Stanley Parable again. And now that I know how to, I'm assuming that saving your progress. We'll find out. Um, and that way we can kind of continue to follow along. I'm gonna look it up and see if that was a ending scenario that we just went through where we ended up outside of the building. I don't know if that's considered a victory, an ending, and it just looped around again. I'm not sure. So, but other than that, we will see you next time. I appreciate you as always, and take care.